Good afternoon and welcome along to Destination Wellbeing. My guest this afternoon is Pauline Murphy. Pauline, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. And just a reminder, viewers, at the start of the show, Pauline and I will be talking around Alzheimer's, dementia, memory loss. And if anybody has any concerns about their health and wellbeing across a broad area, just to make sure that they contact their GP as their first port of call. And but in addition, then we'll be able to talk about some of the other services and supports that are available there. So, Pauline, you have a busy week coming up next week.
Yes, it's Awareness Week for us at the Society, and we're trying to get out there into the community and put up posters and spread the word of what we do, where we are, and how to get in contact with us.
And so you're based, the Newry office is Ballybot House,
Yep.
and but there's outreach goes out then into different areas of the community as well.
Part of the services is one-to-one visits, and that means that if you prefer a dementia support worker to come out and talk to you in your own home or in any environment, we'll come
somewhere
out.
that's familiar or whatever to yourself. So, and that one-to-one, is that for, would that be primarily for someone who's concerned about themselves, that they may be suffering with memory loss, or may already have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia, or is that for family support services as well, or a bit of both really?
All of it.
All of the above. Super. So that service is there really for whoever feels that they need to take up with it.
If you have concerns about your own memory loss or a loved one's, and you want to call into the office and discuss it at that probably maybe your first port of call, and then we'll explain the normal procedure. Then people who get a diagnosis of dementia are sometimes referred to the Society by the trust, the social workers, and then you can have a one-to-one on the services that we provide and where you find yourself here at this present time.
Where that all comes into play. And I suppose then, in addition to your one-to-one support, I know you also operate some dementia cafes, and there's lots of outreach stuff goes on as well for the community and that.
We would have, for the carers on their own, we'd have peer support in the form of care support group, and that's once a month. It's the first Tuesday of the month in Ballybot House, 7:30, and the second Monday of the month in the mornings in the Harbour Haven. We also have a dementia cafe in the Newry area, which is based up in Cullen.
Oh, and that's Mullabam, okay.
And then the Big Lottery funded cafe is in Banbridge on a Tuesday, Armagh on a Wednesday, Kilkeel on a Thursday. So it's a weekly group.
And there's, as you said, those are happening not a million miles out for anybody that feels that they maybe do need some support or a wee bit of a break maybe, or to be just with people that are in the same place as themselves. And that's, so those cafes are primarily for people with a diagnosis, but often they'll have maybe a carer attendant with them. Or
it's very much for people with dementia and their carers. It's a safe environment for people to attend a cafe, and the person with dementia will be stimulated with activities and facilitators that we have in, but the person who's looking after them, the carer as such, will be able to avail of peer support. They'll have like a wee community where they can discuss problems. There'll be a dementia support worker on hand to answer any questions or find out any queries that they have, and we would bring in facilitators, one like yourself.
I've been into some health and wellbeing stuff, but it's arts and crafts, so there's a variety of things that really happen quite on a regular basis. And as you say, what often strikes me about it is that safe environment and the support and the community that can be built up around having other people that are going through, no two people's experiences will ever be the same, but people that are maybe can relate to something that you've been through. It might be a question that might be asked on where you can get a bit of help with this, or who can do that, or what did you do when this was happening. And
very much that peer support's invaluable.
I mean, even last week I had a lady in last week from a charity organisation that supports women with through miscarriage and that, and that's what she was saying. It's just sometimes it's just a talk to somebody else. It doesn't. You don't need the experts. You don't. Whilst they all have their place, but sometimes just to have somebody that may have had an experience of what you're experiencing on a day-to-day basis that you can offload. And the fact that it's weekly gives that regular contact that somebody could feel, well,
that structure.
I'm having a bad couple of days today, and maybe, God, I really need to go and talk to somebody today. And there's somebody on hand there to go and talk to.
our cafe now is very much a feel-good factor that we work towards, not maybe concentrating on anything heavy but light.
Yes.
And working on the skills that you've retained rather than the ones that you've lost.
Yeah, which is such, I mean, I've seen that in terms of lots of different groups that I work with, and the most successful groups that I can see in terms of support for whatever, you know, support group it might be, is when it keeps that positive. Let's focus on being here, what we can do, not what we can't do, so that it doesn't become just a sounding board for everything that's wrong. It actually, you can go out and think, I had a lovely afternoon this afternoon, and really enjoy that space. But I suppose certainly it wasn't until I began to do some work with the Alzheimer's Society and facilitating some of the groups, and even working with some of the carers in terms of their self-care and their own looking after themselves, because that's a big issue really, is when you're giving so much to somebody else that you actually need to look after yourself. And it was really then that I began to have some understanding of maybe what's going on, and just recently undertook the dementia friend training. And you know, it was such an eye-opening experience. So I would definitely recommend anybody out there, whether with or without having anybody in your immediate family suffering with Alzheimer's or dementia or memory loss, to really look into doing that training, because it has changed how I look when I'm going about maybe just looking at people and thinking, and again I suppose I'm still in the stereotype that I look at older people, but that's not necessarily always the case. Sure, it's not. I mean, where people are getting diagnosed younger and younger now at this stage. And I think it's 1 in 4 over the age of 65 was some of the statistics that I was reading. So
we're doing the work right.
Yes, I've done it. I've ticked the box. I've done my research. But you know, so you think, you know, it's not necessarily the old person. It could be somebody much younger that you just, and it definitely made me open my eyes. So anybody that's out there that's dealing with the public, whether it's in a shop or I know one of the key things is like buses and banks and things like that. Really, I would highly recommend having a look at doing that training just for your own awareness. It's 2 hours or 3 hours, something along those lines. But it really gave me a good understanding of, I suppose, not just the thing of actually not being able to remember, but all the frustration that can come with that as well, and how you can maybe look at things slightly differently. So in that sense, the work that you are doing on all levels is invaluable, because you're providing the support but also the education of the community, because it's likely to become a much bigger concern for us all in the next few years.
It's an ageing community we're going into, and we're striving there to get a dementia-friendly community, as you say, and the more people who train up and become aware of how to cope with people and what steps you should take, and it's excellent.
Yeah, just how you can change things around a little bit. Andrew has a great video there that he's going to pop on for us now, just to share a few, I suppose, some ideas of what we're talking about in terms of dementia friend training.
You hear about dementia, but do you really know what it is and what it's like to have it? Dementia Friends aims to make everyday life better for people with dementia by changing the way the nation thinks, talks and acts. Being a dementia friend is about turning understanding into action. From giving a helping hand to someone struggling to find the right bus, to volunteering in your local community, to encouraging someone else to become a dementia friend, no action is too big or too small. We want there to be 1 million dementia friends by 2015, with the know-how to help people with dementia feel understood and included in their community. Volunteer now and help build a network of dementia friends across the country.
So as we were mentioning there just at the end of the film, or the short video shot, was about building a network or building a community or volunteer night type thing. But as I said, you know, it's just being more aware when you're out and about and you've got those types of, you might be just meet somebody or see somebody that just doesn't look like they're fully at themselves maybe, or they can't just get to where they want to go, or they're looking a little bit confused, and maybe just being able to have a bit of an awareness of that and step in and help and see, can you offer any solutions really, because it's that idea of feeling safe as well for all of us, isn't it? That you know, anybody that's, the more confused you get, maybe the more in a particular situation you become more anxious and more worried, and then you can't think straight. Even it's a knock-on effect that you struggle then. So if there were maybe just a few more of us a wee bit more aware, as you said, Pauline, in that ageing community, we will need to be more aware of it as it goes forward. But on a day-to-day basis, somebody living with Alzheimer's, what are they facing? What's the challenges that they have?
They have the problem of communicating, and then the problem of not being able to do everyday tasks, to not be sure of what to do next. It's that, you know, we want to make tea, you know, where does it start? You know, the idea, then where the things are. You've done that in your dementia training.
How it all filters through. We take it's just how much actually there is in making how many decisions you have to make and how much you have to remember in doing something that we take for granted so often.
So it's that being not able to do everyday tasks, and they would very much lose their today's memory and relate back very much to older memories, and it's emotionally based illness, so they would get upset and frustrated, as you say, with that, unable to communicate and do an everyday task, you know, that struggle.
And then the struggle for someone who's caring for somebody, and that is the same, because you know, you're watching and you're thinking, we've done this today, we've just been through that situation or whatever, and the frustration that can arise in that sense of things. But as you say, it's gone back to the older memories, so they're all still there, and that's where sometimes we talk about, like, they sort of revert back to childhood stuff, because those are, I suppose, if we look at how the brain stores information, that's well locked in and well secured, so it's not going anywhere for a while, but it's the more short-term recent stuff that can have that knock-on impact. And I suppose through your awareness week, you're hoping obviously to get out and to build an awareness for the general community, but also for people who may need support and help at home, because as we talked about just slightly off air there, we were talking about how, I suppose, there's such a wide range. There's mild to much more severe, and very often someone suffering with Alzeimer's and dementia, although I know obviously everybody's different, they can be very physically healthy for a good part, you know, for a long time before it actually begins to affect their physical physical health.
And it is a progressive illness, as you say. We start early to moderate stages, and we're trying to get awareness that there is services out there for people with early to moderate stage, not to become isolated, but to you know, involve yourself
to
in
keep
groups.
active, to keep engaged, to get the support and to get that information, because I know even from the perspective of a holistic approach, there's a lot that can be done there that can help with. Sometimes people will come whenever I do different talks with different organisations, and they'll say, does this help with X, Y or Z, whatever the condition may be. But very often you find that it might help with some of the effects of what that condition may be. So maybe there may be an option there that might help somebody sleep better, might help them to stay relaxed so that they're not getting anxious. I know we see that in the groups quite a lot, even when we do short sessions of maybe hand reflexology or those types of things that can just keep us all calm. We don't need to have a diet, but the knock-on effect then for the carers are that if the person that they're looking after is calmer and is having a good day, well, that knocks on to the whole way around. And then, of course, there's the medical route, which maybe early intervention can help in terms of getting the right medication and getting that all supported. So rather than, as you say, just putting it down to, oh, well, I was a bit forgetful yesterday or today, maybe to take early proactive action and move out and get kind of involved with that. So, and those, you know, the range of activities, I just sometimes be at groups and thinking, I nearly wish I had a diagnosis of something, because there's such good, you know, your groups have such a great variety of activity that goes on.
We'd be very much, the service users would be very much involved in what we do. So if we have a facilitator in, we love her, we have her again. And if we don't, we don't.
Yeah, and that's how it. I mean, it's their decision that it fits in on how that works through.
And smells, and achieving something, like when we have James in doing the flower arrange, and we all go home with something lovely.
Yes.
That sense of achievement and created something by themselves.
Yeah, which is a fantastic, and as you say, even the smells and the link between smells and memory, and how that can all help to open up conversation as well. And particularly flowers. I mean, flowers is such a fantastic one, because especially for childhood memories and everything like that too. So it's a great opportunity to open up, and but with the safety for the carer, knowing that there's an extra pair of hands there's an extra pair of eyes, there's somebody else there that's supporting and going to help out and look after.
And it's in a safe environment. Should anything be go a wee bit astray, as things do.
As can happen. And so that the awareness week that's running next week will be out and about. I mean, it's throughout Northern Ireland and throughout the UK as well. So there's we'll hopefully be seeing a lot more coverage in terms of what services are there and how you can help. But definitely for anybody that needs to get in touch with the Alzheimer's Society through their Newry office, the girls there are great. They're looking for people to come in and to talk and to encourage them really to come in and have a chat and just voice your concerns or your worries, even if they're only in the early stages, because the silliest question is the one that's never asked, isn't it? Because there's a lot of, I know, looking at like the Alzheimer's, there's some tools and things that you can even recommend for the house and just practical support that can make everyday tasks easier and runs. And sometimes it's just having that knowledge of thinking, well, this might work or that might help, or how can that help? Because I suppose that home planning area as well is very important to create a safe environment in the home as well for someone.
Yeah, and you would find that very much discussed at the carer support group. As you say, well, one carer has been there and done that.
Yes.
And sees how it works and, the pitfalls in it, and you have to be down that road before you can really speak with authority on it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's experience is key whenever any advice, and recommending and just looking at, well, this might work for us, or this worked for them, or that didn't work because X, Y, and Z, or if it was to do that again, I would do this,
very much,
or all those types of things. So, well, Pauline, we wish you all the success in the world with your week next week, because it's definitely, the work that you do is totally fantastic, and such a valuable asset for the community, really.
We would encourage you, as you say, to get in contact. If you have any queries, please ring us. We are based in Ballybot House, but if you ring and we're not there, it's the nature of our work, we're in and out. Please leave a message, we'll come back to you.
Yeah, get back as soon as possible. And again, as I said, anybody that does have any concerns, to always again engage with your GP, chat with them, and then see what services are available there that can support you. But and also definitely to consider looking at the dementia friend thing, because even if, as I said, even if there's not anybody in your immediate family circle or nowhere that you're being totally affected by that, it's still worth having that knowledge, just to be out there in the community and be looking out for each other, which is such a strong community message anyway across the board. And we're just going to finish with a lovely version of "I'll Get By With a Little Help from My Friends," because I think that really summarises everything that you're hoping to achieve. So thank you for coming in to join me today, Paula.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gina, and I've been diagnosed with early stage dementia, and I'd like to sing you a song.
What would you think if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. What do I do when my love is away?
Does it worry you to be alone?
How do I feel by the end of the day?
Are you sad because you're on your own?
No, I get by with a little help from my friends. I get somebody to love. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Yes, I get by with a little help from my friends. A little help from my
One in 3 of us over 65 will get dementia. There's no cure yet. So to become a dementia friend and find little ways you can help people like me, please go to dementiafriends.org.uk now. Thank you.
Advertise your business here. Reach a weekly audience of 275,000 people. Be ahead of the rest. Call Damien on 078 08 80 34 75 or 028 308 34 012. So, you want local Newry and Mourne TV shows on your television? Which video box should you buy? Well, you have 2 options. Option 1 provides you as long as you have a good internet connection in your home with all the programmes from destinationnewry.com, including
inside the fencing when we were up there. That's such a change. And the dog muck.
Destination Newry.
Radio evolved.
Hello, your weather for today and tomorrow with Destination Newry. Today.
First, this is Newry News Bite.
Well, what's crack in Newry and Mourne today? We all had a great September weather-wise.
We're going to go straight into today's show with a lively set of tunes from a band called
Well, good morning. Welcome to Destination Newry.
Tell me the provenance of that. Where did it come from?
Right there, and welcome back to the studio.
Good afternoon and welcome along to Destination Wellbeing. My guest is...
Hi everyone and welcome to this week's Newry's Loose Women with me.
Well, it's hello and welcome once again to the programme. My name is Pauline.
And the pulse of the house of our God. Praise the Lord.
Philip Rogan, rather, wearing number 19.
Evening, everybody, and you're very welcome to Newry Showgrounds tonight again.
So that's option 1, and to choose this, click on option 1 below, or you can go to vario.ie and buy option 1. Option 2 provides you, as long as you have a good internet connection in your home, everything you get for option 1, including all the programmes from destinationnewry.com, plus you will be able to add over 1,000 private or public channels at the touch of a button, most of which are free. So that's option 2. To buy, click below and buy option 2, or go to vario.ie and buy option 2. To choose your option, either option 1 or 2, just click on the buttons below, or you can go to vario.ie and click on option 1 or 2. When we receive your payment, we will deliver your box to your home, and all you need to do is plug it in and connect it to your TV and your internet. Any problems? We're here on standby to help.